Frankenstein, 1818, by Mary Shelley. Victor Frankenstein was a man possessed by a singular, chilling ambition. In the dim light of his university chambers, he spent years poring over ancient scrolls and modern anatomy texts, seeking the bridge between the spark of life and the stillness of death. His eyes grew sunken, his frame thin, as he neglected his friends and health for the sake of a secret that the world had never known. He believed he could play the role of a creator, bringing warmth back to cold clay. On a dreary night in November, the spark was finally struck. As a violent thunderstorm rattled the windows of his secret laboratory, Victor watched the dull yellow eye of the creature open. It breathed hard, and a convulsive motion agitated its limbs. But as the lightning flashed, Victor did not feel the triumph he expected. Instead, he was filled with a breathless horror and disgust. Looking at the translucent yellow skin and the watery eyes of his creation, Victor turned and fled into the night, abandoning the newborn being to the shadows. Cast out into a world that did not want him, the creature wandered through the woods, confused and cold. He found a small hovel attached to a cottage where a kind family lived. Through a chink in the wall, he watched them for months, learning the sounds of their language and the warmth of their love. He gathered wood for them in secret, hoping that if he learned to speak and act with gentleness, they might overlook his terrifying form and see the heart beating beneath his yellow skin. As his mind grew, the creature discovered a satchel of books in the woods. He read of great heroes and fallen angels, and he began to understand his own place in the world. He realized he was unique, a being without a mother, a father, or a friend. The more he learned of the beauty of humanity, the more he felt the sting of his own exclusion. He was a monster in the eyes of men, a lonely wanderer in a world that offered him no place to rest his head. When the family he loved discovered him and fled in terror, the creature's gentle heart finally broke. The sadness that had defined him curdled into a bitter, burning rage. He realized that Victor, his creator, had brought him into a life of misery and then abandoned him. In the heat of his fury, he set fire to the cottage and watched the flames rise against the night sky. He vowed then that if he could not inspire love, he would cause fear, and his vengeance would find the man who made him. Victor, seeking peace from his guilt, traveled high into the snowy Alps. There, amidst the jagged peaks and frozen glaciers, the creature finally confronted him. Moving with superhuman speed across the ice, the creature stood before his maker. He did not attack. Instead, he spoke with a haunting eloquence, demanding that Victor listen to the tale of his suffering. "I ought to be thy Adam," the creature cried, "but I am rather the fallen angel, whom thou drivest from joy for no misdeed." The creature made a single request. Victor must create a female companion for him, someone as hideous and lonely as himself, so they could disappear into the wilds of South America together. Victor, fearing for his family's safety, initially agreed. But as he worked on the second creation in a remote hut, he was struck by the horror of what he was doing. He feared the two might breed a race of devils. In a fit of resolve, he tore the unfinished work to pieces, casting the remains into the sea. The creature, watching through the window, was consumed by a final, dark transformation. "I shall be with you on your wedding night," he hissed into the wind before vanishing. Victor returned home, haunted by the threat. He married his beloved Elizabeth, but the creature's promise was kept. Tragedies began to follow Victor like a shadow. His brother, his friend, and finally his bride were all taken by the creature's vengeful hand, leaving Victor with nothing but a desire for his own revenge. The chase led Victor across Europe and into the frozen wastes of the Arctic. Victor, now broken and dying from exhaustion, was rescued by a sea captain named Robert Walton. On the deck of Walton's icebound ship, Victor told his tragic story, warning the captain of the dangers of seeking forbidden knowledge. As the icy wind howled around them, Victor's strength finally failed. With his last breath, he urged Walton to find and destroy the being he had so foolishly brought to life. Shortly after Victor's death, Walton found the creature in the cabin, mourning over the body of his creator. The rage was gone, replaced by a profound, final grief. The creature looked at Walton with eyes full of tears, explaining that his own suffering was now at an end. He had no more reason to live in a world that hated him. He leaped from the cabin window onto an ice raft, vanishing into the darkness and the mist, seeking a funeral pyre in the farthest reaches of the north.